Blood in Macbeth is not just gore. It is the play's way of saying the crime will not stay buried.
Yes. People do basic symbol spotting and say blood means violence or guilt, then stop there. That is too weak. In Macbeth, blood is memory made visible. Once Duncan is killed, the murder keeps returning on hams, in sleep, and across the whole world of the play.
So the point is not just that killing is messy. The point is that the body and mind refuse to cooperate with the cover-up.
Exactly. Macbeth wants the crown without the lasting fact of the murder. He wants the result without the mark. The play says, no, the mark stays.
Start with Duncan's murder, because that is where the usual reading goes flat. People treat it like one bad act that triggers guilt later.
But the guilt starts inside the act itself. Macbeth comes back holding the daggers and staring at his bloody hands. He is not a clean strategist, calmly moving to the next step. He is already broken by what he has done.
And the blood matters, because it is physical. He can see it. He cannot argue his way around it.
Right. He looks at his hands and does not just see evidence for other people. He sees a fact he cannot mentally erase. That is why he jumps to the huge image of the seas turning red. The scale matters. One murder feels too large to wash into nothing.
That is stronger than saying he feels bad. The play gives guilt weight and color. It sits in front of him.
And that changes how we read power. Macbeth has won the throne in one sense, but he has lost control of his own mind almost at once. The murder is supposed to secure him. Instead, it invades him.
Then, Lady Macbeth steps in with the hard practical line. Wash your hands, put on the nightgown, manage the scene. She sounds tougher, smarter, more useful.
For the moment, yes. She treats blood as a surface problem. Remove the stain, remove the danger. That is the strategy. And at the level of immediate survival, she is right. If the guards wake and see them covered in blood, they are finished.
So, washing does matter politically. It helps them escape detection. But it does not touch the real problem.
Exactly. Water can clean skin. It cannot cancel memory. Macbeth says as much straight away. He knows the stain is no longer only on his hands. It has spread into how he sees the world. After Duncan's murder, everything is altered.
And the play keeps proving that the blood does not stay in one room. It leaks outward.
Yes, Duncan's death is followed by a world out of joint. Nightmares, suspicion, unnatural events, more killing. The first blood does not settle the future. It creates a chain of consequences. That is why blood in Macbeth is not just a sign of one crime. It is the record of crime that keeps reproducing itself.
Which also explains why Macbeth keeps moving toward more violence. If one murder could be contained, he might stop.
Right. Banquo must die. Fleance must be hunted. Macduff's family must be slaughtered. Macbeth is trying to get ahead of memory by creating more force. That fails, because each new act adds more blood, more witnesses, more fear, more mental pressure.
So, blood is not just aftermath. It drives the plot. Once it appears, the play becomes a machine that keeps generating more of it.
That is the key. Blood is not a decorative symbol sitting on top of the story. It is how the story shows that violence cannot remain a private decision. It enters politics, sleep, marriage, and language.
Let's get to Lady Macbeth, because this is where the washing idea collapses completely.
In the sleepwalking scene, she is still trying to clean her hands. That is the brutal irony. Earlier, she dismissed the problem with, basically, a little water fixes it. Later, in her sleep, she keeps rubbing at an invisible stain that will not go.
And because she is asleep, there is no performance left. No queenly control, no brisk instructions. Just the mind replaying what the waking self tried to master.
Yes, sleep should restore people. In this play, sleep is damaged by murder. Macbeth hears that he has murdered sleep. Lady Macbeth then proves it. Even unconscious, she cannot leave the crime behind. The body remembers what the daytime mind tried to bury.
That is why the blood image is so effective. It keeps crossing boundaries, outside and inside, skin and conscience, private act and public fallout.
And notice the pattern. At first, the blood is freshly there on Macbeth's hands. Later, it is imagined everywhere. Then, in Lady Macbeth's sleepwalking, it is invisible but still treated as physically present. The stain moves from literal evidence to permanent memory.
Which means the play is not saying crime leads to a sad feeling. It is saying crime rewrites perception.
Exactly. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth cannot return to a before. Washing fails because water works on matter, not on time. It can remove what is on the skin, but not what has been done.
And that matters for how we read the tragedy. The punishment is not just death at the end. The punishment begins the moment the blood appears.
Yes, Duncan's murder does not sit safely in the past. It keeps arriving in the present, on the hands, in the mind, in sleep, in the state. That is what blood means in Macbeth.
Not violence alone. Not a neat symbol to underline in red pen.
Blood in Macbeth is memory that will not leave, and that is why no amount of washing can make the murder disappear.